Hey guys, Effie here. Today I'm going to make this card using our Swallowtail Butterfly Wings stamp set. In addition to decorating the front of my card, I'm also going to be decorating the inside of the card using the coordinating pop-up butterfly dies. So I'm going to start off by rose gold heat embossing both wings from the butterfly wing set onto some watercolor paper. I'm using Canson XL 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm using our branded rose gold embossing powder. After I've spooned on some powder for the wings, I stamped the body. There was a little bit of space between the body and the right wing. I kind of just filled that area in with my Versamark pen and just heat embossed that area. So once I finish heat embossing, I'm going to go ahead and do some wet and wet watercoloring. For my watercolors, I'm using Ken Oliver color bursts. For the actual wings, I'm using the turquoise color burst, and I'm using two fine tip Pentel Aqua brushes to paint. I wet the area inside the wings with clean water, and then I started dropping in the turquoise color burst. But you can see where I drop in the color. It's towards the inner portions of each segment in the wings, and then I pull that color out to the left just a tiny bit. Now I'm not pulling the color out all the way to the left side, covering the entire segment. I'm leaving a little bit of white space of that paper showing. That way you get some nice contrast in each little segment within the wings. I find that you get more of an impact when you paint or color this way. When you have a really dark area that goes into a really light area to an almost white area, you get a lot of interest in your project. So after I finish painting the wings, I'm going to go ahead and paint the areas surrounding the butterfly. Now, I'm going to use my fuchsia color burst for this portion of my panel. I started off by wetting the area around the butterfly with some clean water, and then I start dropping in the fuchsia. I'm using the same wet and wet watercolor technique for this portion of my project. So my base color will be the fuchsia color burst. I actually decided mid-project to change it up and add some more colors. I originally was only going to use the fuchsia to surround the butterfly wings. So while this area on my panel was still wet, I added a little bit of my tangerine color burst. And while that fuchsia portion of my panel was still wet, as you add the second color, it's going to blend into that first base color. After I added my tangerine, I added my base fuchsia to the top left side of my panel, and then I added a little bit of my orchid color burst to the top portion of the panel so that it blends into that fuchsia. So now I have three different colors for the background of my butterfly. Next, I took the outline wing dies from the coordinating pop-up die set, and I cut the two wing shape from printer paper because I plan on using these as temporary masks. So I just added some temporary adhesive behind my mask, and then I adhered the two masks onto the butterfly wings, and then I just splattered a little bit of turquoise watercolor onto my project. I mixed some of the turquoise color burst onto an acrylic block and added a little bit of water, and then I took my paintbrush and I just kind of flicked that paint right onto my project to create the splatters. Then I peeled off the mask carefully, making sure not to smudge any of the splatters. Then I used our basic banners stamp set to stamp my sentiment. I'm using the Many Thanks sentiment from the basic banners. After I've stamped both banner and sentiment in our bright emerald dye ink, I cut out the shape of the banner using the coordinating die. Then I took the largest die from our double stitch rectangles large die collection to add stitching to my painted panel. Next, I just added some dimensional foam tape behind my banner sentiment, and I popped that up onto my painted panel. Then I cut strips of our double-sided adhesive, which is really strong adhesive that's great for watercolor paper. I just added the strips of the adhesive right behind my panel, and then I mounted that panel onto a side folding A2 card base. Next, I'm going to create my own gold foil cardstock using our gold foil adhesive paper. After I adhered the gold foil paper onto some heavy cardstock or heavyweight cardstock, I die cut the intricate butterfly wing dies from the pop-up die collection. If you have the Gemini Junior, you want to use the extra metal shim because these are a little bit more intricate, and if you use the extra shim, all these little pieces will just pop right out. If you're using another die cutting machine, you can just add a few pieces of cardstock to act as that extra shim, and then it'll add the extra pressure needed to really cut out all those little pieces inside the wings. So this is the left side of the wing and it has the tab on the right side, and then this is the right side wing and that one has the tab on the left side. Next, I just added some adhesive to the bottom of the two tabs. You can use liquid adhesive if that's all the adhesive you have on hand. I just used my tape runner because this is just what I normally use, but you can use liquid adhesive. Next, I'm going to assemble my pop-up butterflies by sliding the two slits together. And then I'm going to adhere my butterfly to the inside of my card. The closer that your tabs are to that score line, the more your butterfly will pop up. The further apart the tabs are, the butterfly will lay a little bit more flat to your card. I was originally going to leave the wings as is, but then I decided to add the background to the intricate wings. So I die cut the outline of the wings using the dies from the same collection from mint cardstock. After I die cut the wings, I just added dots of liquid adhesive behind my gold foil intricate wings, just tiny dots. You don't need a lot of glue. After I just added the dots of glue, I just adhered the background of the wings right onto the intricate portion. To ensure that your die cuts are adhered really well onto the inside of your card base, you can close your card and apply some even pressure as you close it, and this will make sure that they're adhered really well inside. So this is now complete. To finish off the card, I'm just going to add some of our gold medallion sequins to the front of the card. For my sequins, I just used some multi-matte medium to adhere them right onto the card. And my card is now finished. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. There were a couple of impromptu changes in the making of this card, but I really enjoyed the end results. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.